Hello there. Welcome to the Manifestation Kitchen podcast, where I open our cooking pot so inspirational geniuses who heal the world through food, words, energy, and so much more can add their ingredients for our culinary pleasure of the soul. I am your host, Victoria Dio. Now, today's guest is very special because I spend a lot of time with this person as I continue my journey into pranic healing. He is an amazing teacher. He is an amazing speaker, coach, friend, advisor, and most importantly, he's been working with people from all walks of life. He has an amazing mastery of the mind, and he really knows what makes people tick, why people do what they do. He has healed people from children, mums, all the way through to celebrities, including Tony Robbins. So we have got a lot to learn from him today. And today we're going to be talking about the power of healing, especially in the corporate world, because healing and corporate don't seem to align. But guess what? There's an alignment more than what you actually realize. So we have got a lot to learn from him today. So why don't you join me on the other side and hear what he's got to say? I'll speak to you soon. And here he is, my teacher, Les Flitcroft. Welcome.
Thank you, Victoria. How are you?
I'm good. It feels so weird, sort of like seeing you on a screen, because we're used to having you in class all the time and having access to you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I've certainly had to get used to this during lockdown and the pandemic, speaking into a little green light rather than having an audience. So, yeah.
I know.
Well,
I was fortunate.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I was fortunate, right? Because I think the first time I met you, it was the live class, just as we were just about coming out of lockdown. So
that's it. Absolutely.
I'm
one
of the lucky ones. Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. So one of the reasons why I brought you on, not only because you're my teacher, but I have witnessed you since March on stage, and I can honestly say I don't know anyone with a bigger heart.
Oh,
and that's why that. No, you're welcome. And that's I know you don't like it when when we give compliments, but it is the truth. And when I was thinking of who to bring on to this season, I couldn't think of any better person to bring on and to have a chat with. And especially considering that you weren't born into healing.
Absolutely not. No. It was through accident more than anything. Well, literally an accident. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what started it. Yeah.
So having someone who, similar to myself, fell into this by accident, I thought I'd love to just bring you in and just talk to you about the power of healing, but most importantly as well, the power of healing in businesses and in the corporate, because it's something that doesn't really align. If you talk about healing and corporate, people will tell you that it just doesn't go. What's your thought on this?
Well, if you think of us, no matter, whether it work, whether at home, whether at leisure, wherever we are, we've all got to deal with our lives. So particularly if you're at work, there's so much stress, anxieties, there's a lot of cases, uncertainties. So all of these are different emotions that people have. And one of the things that pranic healing is very good at is the pranic psychotherapy side, where you can help someone so fast, because it's not a case of like talking to someone for weeks or months on end. You can, by the healing process, you can actually extract from the mind thoughts, emotions, stresses, anxieties, fears, all sorts of things very fast. So performance-wise, if you were doing this for your you know, your directors, your managers, your staff, your people around you, which we've done many, many times in wellbeing days for many, many corporates. Very quickly, you can get them functioning better because their focus is on their work. You can take away distractions out of their minds, so their performance levels and their resilience becomes very high, very quick. And you don't have to do it, you know, counseling and psychology, if you like, for months and months to try and keep these people on to a very high level of standard. That's the great thing with pranic healing. You can do many, many things. But the word healing, obviously, people conjure up all sorts of thoughts or words, but pranic healing is a true science. It really is a science. That's one of the reasons why I'm here. My background is engineering.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very methodical in my thoughts, and the way the way I am is very scientific based. And anyone that comes into the school of this, like you have, you know, you've seen that it's a very procedural type of modality, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. I love the structure. It's something that I was missing before coming in, and to have that structure and also to have yourself and the rest of the team helping and supporting means a huge amount.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So let me ask you, because you went straight into the pranic healing things and stuff, and then you also talked about where you came from. No, I mean, I love it because don't apologize. This is why we're here. I swear by pranic healing, and one of the things I really wanted to talk to you was how you got into it. And some people may have heard the story, but I know my audience haven't. And I want to know sort of like that transition from corporate to healer. What was that like for you, and how did that happen?
Well, it all started off with this arm, my left arm. You can see that we might not be able to see it that well.
We can see it.
Many years ago, I was involved in an accident, and it rendered my left arm paralyzed, basically. So I had 5 operations. They said that, you know, they saved my arm, but what I'd done, I'd severed the nerves. So they said that, your arm would never grow back. So obviously, being an aircraft engineer, and I was still working actually physically on the aircraft and so on. So a friend of mine was doing this. It wasn't in the UK, so I had to go abroad. It was called Pranic Healing. When along, I thought I was going to get just a healing from this guy, this Chinese man. And a friend had booked me on all the classes, some of the classes, which I wasn't too happy about to begin with. Anyway, I took the course, felt, okay, yeah, it all makes sense. Then I was told by the teacher of all of this, you know, if you do this technique, you do it every day within less than 6 months, so you will get your arm back. It will be guaranteed, but it's down to you. And that was it. End of conversation. So again, you know, like pranic healing is procedural. So every technique is there for someone to use. So I used this specific technique over and over. And I can't remember offhand because it was over 20 odd years ago, but it wasn't very long before I started feeling things. And to cut a long story short, basically within that 6 months, I got the movement and the flow of my hand back. And then I could start using it, strengthen it back up, and it got back to normal. So from that, I thought, well, this is something. And even though I'd done it, my analytical background, I still think, how could I do this, such a thing? So I started using the techniques on a few people, various things, like my dad had a heart attack, used it on him very quickly. He recovered. Then a few friends. And then it went on from there. So it was basically word of mouth. And then my teacher, Master Chokuksui, the man that created it all, he asked me to spread the teachings in UK, in Ireland, and a few other countries. And from that, 20 odd years ago, off we went and started to heal people first of all. My name got out there, you know, word of mouth. People started to come to me more and more. I was very successful. You know, my recovery rate and my success rate was well over 90% in everyone that I was treating. and they got more and more serious cases, like heart disease, strokes, and so on, psychological disorders. And I was curing so many people or helping them to live a better life. So that was it. And I think it was about 10 years ago now, I finally stopped being an engineer and then went into this full time and spreading the teachings now around 4 different countries. So it's been an extraordinary change and development for me. But as I said at the beginning, it's really a science. So when people learn it, they understand, wow, this isn't different. This isn't wacky or weird like I thought it was myself. It really is a science, and it is very, very precise in what it does. And it's only the front door, you know, pranic healing within the school of the teaching. There's so many teachings to help people in all areas of their lives, physically, emotionally, mentally, with pranic healing. With finances as well, there's courses and classes to help you to build your finances. And then if you're interested on the spiritual side, there's many spiritual classes, like you took with Arhatic Yoga recently, didn't you?
Yes, I did. It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. There's all the inner teachings of religions, but that's also to help you to understand the keys or the inner teachings. So there's many, the school is very, very vast, which I found out obviously the more. And because the more you do something, the more you realize how little you really know. That's the thing. We're always learning.
I actually think that when you think you know it all, that's where you tend to fail so quickly.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you know, I find the studying within the institute, there's always something that comes up and you go, oh my goodness. And there's always that wow moment, because life keeps on opening up. It's almost as if as soon as you surrender, different doors open up to show you more and more about life, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now you talked about business and you know, helping you with your finances. I know that you're great friends with Master Co. You and Master Co have the same teacher. And I know Master Co wouldn't be working with Tony Robbins if it wasn't for you, because you initially was doing the healing for Tony Robbins.
Yes.
I want to know about that story actually before we move on.
Okay.
Because I don't think people know this. And I have a lot of friends in the Tony world, and I think they just assume that Master Co just sort of like got beamed down onto stage with Tony.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was helping Tony for over 2.5 years. He had a few physical things, you know, he when he does the clapping and so on. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. So he actually hurt his shoulder on one occasion, for instance.
Oh.
And that was the first time I met him. So I went to his. I didn't actually know the guy, to be honest. Somebody had sort of knew someone who knew someone that knew me, and said, "Would you prepare to go up to London?" He's working up in London, and help this guy. He's a big celebrity, and what have you. When I do help for someone, I don't really want to know their background, because when I go in to see them. I see them as the person they are, and then I can understand. I can look at their minds, see what's going on psychologically. And if there's a physical problem, we deal with that. But I'm not sort of drawn into their celebrity status or who they are. It's best to be blank. So I went up there. There's security guards everywhere, even like 2 on the lift, 2 upstairs. I'm thinking, who is this guy?
That's Tony.
Anyway, exactly, yeah. So it was actually in Chelsea. So I went into his room, big apartment room, and they said, "Oh, Tony will be with you in a minute." Sat in there, and then this massive guy walks in. I mean, he's huge, and he's about 6'7". 6'7", is he? Yeah. Huge. Shook his hand, and my hand felt like a little baby's hand. It was unbelievable. And we sat down, and then he started to ask me questions first. And I looked at him and I said, "Are you a film star?" I said, "I've known you. You were in that film called Shallow Hal." And he just laughed. And I said, "I don't know anything about you." And I explained what I've just said. And he said, "Oh, that's fine." And then he started testing me out, first of all. He said, "Do you see yourself as a spiritual person?" And I said, "Well, it depends on what you view as spiritual."
Right.
Said, "Well, you tell me." So I told him, I said, look, a person that's spiritual isn't about meditation. It's about being dynamic, being courageous, good-hearted, intelligent, and highly intuitional. That's someone that's spiritual, because many people hide behind the word spiritual, but that's really what we're all aiming to be, is that sort of person, and everyone's capable. He said, that's very good. He said, so many people come along and say they're this and that. He said, and he asked me a few other things. So he was testing me out. And then he asked me, he said, okay, all right. So he said, hands up. I look at, he said, what's wrong with me? So I said, I'm not allowed to say, because we're not allowed to diagnose. So I said, that's not a cop out or anything like that. That's what it is. We're not allowed to, because we're not medically trained. I said, but if you tell me what's wrong, then we can look deeper to find out the problems, and then we can go further with it. Anyway, we had quite a deep conversation, and which was going to be an hour, ended up by being, I think it was about 6 or 8 hours with him in the end. So I done healing on him. It was like blew his mind, because the pain in his shoulder and his arm, I got it done literally in about 20 minutes, no pain. So from that, he'd had guys working on him for ages. He tried everything. He was taking painkillers. Nothing happened. Straight away, I'd done it. It worked. Then he said, this is amazing. Can you do something else? I said, yes, I've done that. Then I worked on his mind, and it really relaxed him so much. He actually then started to drop off, and he said, God, he said, I feel so, so well. He said, that's amazing. Would you help my wife? I went, yeah. When do you want me? Well, she's here. Okay, so he brought his wife in, Sage. So I done a treatment on her. She felt great. She was blown away. He said, and then another person, and he said, what about my crew? And in the end, I treated, I can't remember now, loads of them, loads of people. So I spent 8 hours with him. That was the first session. Then he said, this is something else. So I showed him a load of things that we do, the teachings and everything else. And then it just grew from that. And so then I was doing, he said, how can we keep connecting? I said, well, I can do it distantly for you. And he swears quite a bit, doesn't he? So he said a few swear words. And he said, basically, how can you do that? And I said, well, you'll see. And he was the second time when he was in Florida, and he was driving down, and we were supposed to be a phone call. And then he said to me, Les, and he said, I'm really sorry, I'm late. I'm in the car, I'm driving home. I said, well, if you're not driving, I can do it for you now. And he said, well, that's ridiculous. How can you do that? And I said, it doesn't matter. If you take something very simple, how many times have you been on you for someone and they give you a call? How many times have you had that before? I said, if you think of someone, they turn up. So the thought process, the person has a thought, they think of that person, that energy goes to them. So energy is pervasive. It affects everywhere, and it can go anywhere. Anyway, so I said, right, just sit comfortably. I'll do it now. So I kept him on the phone, done the healing. And again, he was in pain in certain areas of his body, done the healing, and he started swearing. He said something, how can you possibly do that? So that started formulating, a good friendship, really. And then over the next 2.5 years, he had problem with sleep, for instance. At one point, because he was traveling, obviously, everywhere. He was so busy. So I said to him, okay, I'll help you with your sleep. Wherever you are, I'll do a healing for you. You tell me, we get on the phone after your class, and I do the healing for you. And that's what we done. So when he was in Australia, India, moving around and so on, I done the healing. And then within 2 treatments, he was getting 8 hours sleep. Now for Tony, like he said, for years, that was unheard of.
Huge.
So in the 2.5 years, we built up a very good friendship and what have you. And then he asked me to join him. I literally traveled the world with him and go with him. And I said to him, because of my commitments here in the UK and Ireland, at the time I said, I just cannot do that. I'd love to do it with you. I'd love to help. I really can't do that. But my colleague, Master Co, Stephen Co, he's in America. So, you're in LA a lot. He's in LA. So maybe it'd be best for you two guys to hook up. I don't know, because Master Co's schedule is very, very busy as well with the teachings of what we do, because he moves around everywhere as well. I said, but it's worth a chance, you know, and maybe in the future we could do something, but meet up with him. Then I gave him the Your Hands Can Heal You book, which Master Co wrote with Eric Robbins, the
That's
medical
right.
doctor. So he read through that, and then he come back to me, Tony, and said, yeah, I'd like to meet him. Can we arrange something? So hooked them up. They met a few times. Tony was blown away again with Master Co, same thing. And then Master Co, he asked Master Co to join his team. So now Master Co goes around the world with Tony in his UPWs, but he also does the higher membership programs with him as well now. So that was it. So Master Co now, that's the story, really. That's where it all happened.
Phenomenal. And I don't know where I heard this story, but apparently Master Co actually had a dream that he would work with Tony at one point.
No, what it was our teacher, Master Cho.
Your teacher, right?
Yeah, Master Cho, the main guy.
Yes.
Many years ago, he said that there's a guy called Tony Robbins who would be quite an influential figure to help and spread the teachings of pranic healing and the teachings of the Institute eventually. And that was it. And so, of course, when I met Tony Robbins at first, it blew my, I spoke to Master Co about it. He was like, really? You've met Tony Robbins? And then, of course, I said, how big is this guy? I know it's physically he's big, but how big is this guy? He said, he's a worldwide celebrity. He said, Master Cho had talked about him many years. I said, really? I said, oh, I didn't know that. That's how it all started. So, yeah, I don't, to be honest, I don't get caught up with the celebrities because in that way, as I say, because simply I want to go neutral. So I help the person, not the status, if that makes sense. That's the way I've always been. And I've helped many celebrities over all the years as well. So, but yeah, that's how it all started with Master Co. And, he helps Tony now, and he does it physically. He still does lots of healings and psychological as well for Tony to keep him on track. As I said to you, it's mind blowing with the psychological side. And that's not a pun. That's basically what it is. And but yeah, from that, then he helps them on his classes and courses as well. So Master Co still teaches obviously pranic healing worldwide, and he's an intellectual lecturer on his own. So great guy. So as I say, he's a great friend. We've been together for a very long time. So
well, it's funny you should say that, because there's a picture of you two that you can get at the events, and you're both so young, and you're both at the side of the teacher, and you must have been like in your 20s or something. You guys look so young together, and then you don't realize how long you've actually known Master Co when you see you guys talking now, but you've known each other for a very long time.
20 years. Over 20 years. 22, 23 years now. Long time.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So I was going to lean on to the finance, business finance element of around pranic healing. And we know that Master Co's come in September. I'm already booked.
Well done.
I am booked. I've booked everything. I'm like hotel, the course, the lot.
Very good.
Yes, I can't wait. But do you want to tell us a bit about that? Because that's going to be a huge one. And Master Co doesn't get to come here as often as maybe he probably would have done if the world was more open. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that and what to expect?
Yeah, absolutely. So he's over here for 3 classes in September. So one of them he's going to be teaching spiritual business management, which basically is to do with not only you being in a business, but if you take your life as a business and you turn your, even in your free time, you schedule, you plan, you deliver things that you need to, you'd be amazed how much you can get done. So part of that class, spiritual business management, is to help people to have a very successful life in many forms. It goes into depth with what's called the 7 rays as well, because we're all different personalities, but it's much, much deeper. It's not only to do with your birth sign and your birthright and also how your upbringing is, but also to do with a certain type of energy that comes into you that makes you the person you are. And you can really enhance that strength. And if you're building business around other people as well, bringing other people in, you can look at their ray and look at their strength according to that job description. And then that person will really fit that job for you. So you can build a very good team of people around you with the different types of rays for that different type of job description. So that's that one.
Yeah.
It's also teaching inner Hinduism revealed. In other words,
Yes.
you have the outer teachings, through the religions and so on. But if you think they originated from core teachings, so which teachings then in certain cases become a religion, like Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, and so on.
Yeah.
So in a Hinduism, you don't have to be a Hindu. It has nothing to do with the religion. It has to do with the hidden teachings that lie within, and they're all applicable to your life, everyone, no matter who you are. You can be a Buddhist and use those teachings. You can be a Christian and use those teachings, or even an atheist, it's fine. But so they're techniques that share with everyone so they can really enhance any areas of their life once they understand the principles and the techniques. So that's a 1-day class, that's Hinduism. And then the big one is a 2-day class, is Kriya Shakti, as it's called. So Kriya Shakti means materialization through purification. In other words, if you want to create something, and there's many things out there, like The Secret. The Secret has been delivered, isn't it? But there's one core value beneath everything is the aspect of your mind. Now, your mind creates 20 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Your awareness of such is minimal, this amount, So if you take it, it's like you have a library, you have no awareness as such of your library, you're only aware of what comes up on the windscreen in front of you. That's what we say, are conscious or subconscious. So if you want to do something, I don't know, make it simple, you want to buy a new car, then you plant it in your mind, you say, okay, I want this new car. But then you start to look, oh, well, financially, I can't afford it. What type of car do I want? Do I want a red one? Do I want a black one? Do I want a green one? What engine do I want? What type do I want? And then you start arguing the point with yourself, and those negative thoughts that are laying behind there go over the top of your dream, if you like, and crush it. And nothing happens. It's like New Year's resolutions. A lot of time we want to create or do something, and we start on very good platform and start this process, and very, very quickly it falls away. So the secrets behind materialization, whatever it may be, not only financially, but careers and relationships and so on, health even, is purification. In other words, taking away the negativities of your mind so that when your mind creates that seed of thought, you build the picture on what you want, you can materialize it into a physical state and have a good life from it. It also incorporates the aspect of what's called karma. In other words, what you think, what you sow is what you reap. In other words, what you keep sowing is what you keep harvesting. So you need to put many principles in place to materialize your wealth, your abundance, and everything in your life. So over those 2 days, you learn the inner secrets of materialization, and then you apply the techniques. It gives you what you want. Financially, relationship, health-wise, so on, so on, so on. Okay, so it's a science again. Even the higher teachings that seem mystical, like Master Chokusui created, are all an exact science. Everything's a formula.
I mean, completely. I mean, I've heard you talk about this, but even as you're speaking, it's almost as if I'm hearing it for the first time, and I'm almost about to jump out of my chair because I'm having so many different realizations. I don't, as a pranic healing student, you don't realize I don't realize how much it's part of my life. so for example, you were talking about the raise when you're doing a business and how you choose your people. And I was actually having a meeting today with a CFO, and I was talking about the humanization of the corporate world, because we've gone into that phase where everybody's just a number, and not thinking about actually the humanization of everything, and that these are human beings that have different souls and different lives, and
Absolutely.
and
We're all
how to
different personalities, aren't we?
completely. And I was actually saying that to her, and she got really excited about what I had to tell her. And then the second thing that you talked about, can't remember what the second thing was, but there was this one about oh God, about karma.
Yes.
And just before karma. And just before I got on the phone, I have a client who I've got into listening to Twin Hearts by Master Chokoksui. And she's gone through a really tough time. And yesterday, for some reason, some money entered into my account. And I'm thinking, why is that money there? And I couldn't figure out who'd sent it. So just before jumping on here with you, I sort of like went through again. I think it's from this girl. So I called and I went, did you send me money? She went, oh, yes, I did. And I went, why? And she said, I was listening to Master Co, and he was talking about tithing and karma.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she thought, I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this money to Vic. I went, oh, bless you. That's really sweet. And she said, it's all about karma. I went, yes, it is. And it's just interesting that you're talking about that. Do you want to tell us a bit more about karma?
Absolutely.
Just touch on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even with what you said, like one, you've mentioned Twin Hearts, which is a very good thing. So people doing Twin Hearts meditation, that is a very good thing for everyone in corporates to start doing, because, everyone says, that if a person's, like you said to me earlier, if you've got a good heart, what does that mean? So you open the heart, a center or chakra as such, you become a better person. So everyone's capable of that. But again, you need something to make it happen. So the Twin Hearts will do it. So in corporates, very, very simply, which I always talk to the big CEOs and bosses and what have you when I meet with them, is that one of the things is yes, you want people to work harder and better for you, but then the ruthlessness of some businesses has to calm down. And if the heart's open, you'd be more caring, more thoughtful towards your staff members, and they'll actually help you more and come along with you more. But
Completely.
if it's gung-ho, this is what we're doing, end of story, and you're full on with these things without bringing anyone on with you or being a good heart and listening to people, then this is the shortfall of many, many corporates. But that's also linked with karma, because it's giving, you receive, sow a seed, you harvest fruits as such. So many people don't believe it, but it's like gravity, whether you believe it or not, doesn't matter. It still works, doesn't it? It's still there. So it's the same as karma. When we put in good luck, bad luck, it's still the same process. But basically, it's what you're putting out, what you sow a seed of, is what you harvest in abundance. So if someone's really nasty all the time to somebody else and ruthless and horrible, then they get it back in abundance. So you put that into a company where someone's so ruthless, they don't care about their people, care about their staff. They're just gung-ho all the time. They find that their staff, they struggle with trying to bring people with new policies, new procedures, new things. So they must have a good heart when they do so. It doesn't mean to say that you're totally soft and give in to everybody. There is a line, but again, good-heartedness. So then in your life, if you're a good person, you help, you care, you share, like your time. So tithing, as you mentioned, tithing simply means give your time and some of your finances to a very good charitable cause and a good effort. Somebody like your family, you should always help your family members. Good charitable causes all the time. That's one of the reasons why we have a charity, so that we help across the country, homeless, feeding programs and things like that to help people. So you should always be a good person where you help others. Now, you're not going to get, say if you give money to someone, like a charity, you're not going to get that back from a charity. This is my mindset when I first started all this. So how does that come back? But the laws of nature that lie behind that, by you planting good deeds, you harvest good fruits of those deeds. So you get, like you just said, you look to your bank account because you've been doing good for other people. All of a sudden, somebody thought of you and go, Victoria, I'll tie some money to Victoria. So it comes in many avenues and ways, but it must be not only giving, but also freely receiving. So a lot of people are very good at giving, but they don't receive. Somebody goes, okay, you do so many good for others. I'm going to give you this gift. Oh, no, that's fine. I don't want it. But you've just neutralized the good deeds that you're planting all the time. So it's like inhaling and exhaling. Before you take a breath in, you've got to breathe out, haven't you? But the same thing goes the other way. You breathe out and then you've got to breathe in. So you must give and receive accordingly in your life. And if you do that continuously, the loop and the aspect of that loop grows. So if you tithe on a regular basis, in other words, give money to a good charitable cause, you find that your finances grow and grow and grow because it comes back in all many avenues.
You're going to get me crying.
No, but that's one of the things. So karma isn't fatalistic, it's futuristic. You can actually mold and develop your life through the acts of good karma. That's the great thing about it. So even, we're talking about Kriya Shakti earlier and karma. By planting the good seeds, then you're entitled to harvest what you want. It's like building up a savings account, a bank account. And you say, okay, I've built enough money in my bank account. I want to buy that new car. And so you can. So karma is the same thing. You build up the good karma. Then you say, okay, I ask for blessings and I want to have this in your life. The karmic accountants, if you like, to make it simple, look at it and go, yep, you got enough money in your account. Yes, you can have it. And it happens. It manifests. So that's the real art, really, of manifestation in all of our lives, in which we do every single day. We use karma every day. You're negative for your thoughts and your words towards someone. You just planted a seed. That's the karma that's going to come back in abundance to you. See what I mean? So we don't realize it, back to gravity, but as I said to you, it's there whether you believe or not, understand it or not. It still plays a massive part in your life every day. And what most people call good luck or bad luck. I've had a win. Oh, okay, really good. You were entitled to that win because somewhere along the line you've done something good for others. And then other people go, why do they always get what they want? Why does it always manifest to them? You don't see the good deeds that other person has done way, way, way before that even them may not be aware of.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So,
I remember. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, carry on.
No, you're fine. That's it. Yeah, it's fine.
No, I was going to say one of my first sessions with you, first classes, there was a woman. I'll always remember this. And you were talking about karma, and this woman was talking about her in-laws and how her husband helped his family a lot. And she detested it. She begrudged it. She didn't like it. And she felt as if it was putting a lot of pressure on her, not even her husband, because her husband was fine. And you turned around and said, but your husband's okay, right? And she said, yes. And you said, well, what's the problem? She goes, but they keep asking. He goes, but there's still money in the bank, right? And the woman said, yes. He goes, well, why do you think, and you said, why do you think the money keeps coming in? It's the karma of all the good deeds that he's doing. And I think sometimes we just need to remember that there is an abundance of everything out there.
Absolutely. It's endless.
Yeah. And we
it's just our ability.
Yeah.
It's just our ability to manifest it, but we don't see it because it's hidden.
I know.
So these laws, they're all there. All the, should we say, all the formulas are there.
Yes.
They're hidden, so you can't see them on a piece of paper. But that's why the inner teachings of, like in this school, give you that inner teaching. They give you the answer, and you know yourself. You apply them, they work.
Yes.
As simple as that. It's because you're learning the hidden laws that lie behind everything. It's the same as pranic healing. We're back to Tony Robbins. He couldn't believe that I could heal him. I was sat in my armchair in my house. He's going down a car in Florida. So the most people, they go, well, that's absolute rubbish. That could never happen. Try it. Don't dismiss something you don't know anything about. Try it. You'll be amazed how it works. So, and this is one of the reasons why I can share this with you, that we're in King's College Hospital now doing clinical research. So we've just finished the first clinical trials and on 16 to 22-year-olds for pain, for stress and anxiety and insomnia. And all of these youngsters, they had liver disease. And the results have been outstanding, which we will get published as it finalizes. We just got 2 more months to go to write up what we need, and then we can then publish that. And then we're going on to do another research. So we're already in King's College, the consultants that I've been dealing with. I've explained what pranic healing is as a science. We've shown them the formulas or the protocols that we use for the very specifics, like for stress and anxiety. The psychological side, there's a protocol for it. The physical ailments, which we're going to be now dealing with gastro, there's protocols for each step. So for a scientist or for a doctor to look at it and go, okay, makes absolute sense. And a lot of the consultants I've been dealing with, they've tried it. I've done work on them. I've done healing for them. And with the ones that have tried it, it blew them. So they know it works. Simple as that. Taking the pain away from someone when you're waving your hands around, if you like. But because you're doing a procedure, it works, and the energy flows in a very specific pattern, and it works. You take pain away from someone. How can anyone then question that? So the word healing, if you like, and the manifestation of these things, everything is a formula. Energy is pervasive that affects every single area of your life, from your health to your finances, to your relationships, to your spiritual growth. Everything is there. So there's formulas, if you like, that are hidden everywhere for everything. Does that make sense? So if you can then seek them out, which in the school of this, you can find them, you can apply them, you apply the laws, you manifest what you need to in your life. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, relationships. It all works.
So who is pranic healing for? Who can come and study pranic healing, Les?
So pranic healing is for everyone, whether you're a housewife, whether you're like me, like an engineer, an accountant, or a doctor, anyone can use it. Anyone can apply it. And one of the things that I've always said to family members, for instance, one of the things that Master Cho always wanted was, and like he said, was a pranic healing in every household. Because if you have a pranic healer there, they can use this system to help your family physically and emotionally. Like, like your kids, like I've done. If your kids are growing up, they go through many trials and tribulations. They fall, they hurt themselves, pick them up, you can heal them. They're going through their exams, say, for instance, the GCSEs or A-levels or whatever their exams they're doing, you can keep them calm, stress and anxiety, calm their mind down so they can focus more, so they get better results at school. So that's one side of it. We're back to what we said earlier. If you're in corporate, if you know how to heal your staff, and some of your staff members are struggling with their stress of their job or their lifestyle or their home life, by simply applying these hidden laws, these techniques on your staff members, which I know many, many people do it, that's learned it through corporates and their own businesses, they apply it, it works. There's one particular lady, She was doing healing on her staff. She now got quite a number of her staff members to take pranic healing. Some have taken it up to the pranic psychotherapy level, and they apply it now in their workplace. And they found that their business is absolutely flying because of it. So we go on, and in the medical field where I am now, we're applying it to patients and people. And so, and the results again are outstanding. So anyone can learn it, anyone can use it. It's simplified for anyone to use, but the technology and, if you like, the science that lies behind it is tremendous.
Yeah, and people can follow you on Instagram at UK Pranic Healing, and on there, normally most of the courses are actually advertised on there, aren't they?
Absolutely, yes, indeed, yeah.
It is phenomenal. I mean, again, I was thinking when I first came to Pranic Healing and I could barely walk, and I remember coming to you just going, I can't move.
Yeah,
and I had
absolutely.
all sorts of adjustments being made for me because of my back. And now I'm back at the gym and I'm doing 2.5 mile walks and what have you.
Well done. That's good.
Yeah. And a lot of it, it was healing as well, but there were certain things about life that you kept on saying to me, do this and do that. Like I'd come to you, I go, Les, this isn't happening. You go, well, do this and do that. And I kept on going, all right, then I'll go back and do it. And it's amazing, especially after being in Hatha yoga, the structure that gives us is phenomenal. Like you literally, even when you're still fast asleep, you sort of like roll out of bed and you go, Mark's going to be there soon, so I better switch on. And
True, isn't it? Yeah, it does.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's it. That's why, that's the highest teaching within the school is our Hatha yoga.
Yes.
And for the viewers, it's not the yogas that you're used to. It's all it's all to do with the development of your mind, purification again, and reading past thoughts, emotions, and really enhancing your spiritual development as a soul, as such. Okay, so you develop the soul. So, but you need to upgrade the hardware. Your mind, your physical system, the energetic system, and so on, to be able to really enhance. That's what I said at the beginning with Tony Robbins. Being spiritual isn't about meditation. Meditation is only like one of the gateways of many, many things to enhance your life. If you think about this, like I said, everyone wants to be more dynamic, not procrastinating and lazy. It isn't their fault if they are, but why can't you apply it? So there's techniques again in our Hatha yoga, the teachings and everything makes you more dynamic. Courage. If you're courageous and you have courage within you, like we all do to a degree, there'd be no stopping you. You'd be able to achieve wondrous things. So that's applicable. Then good-hearted. If you're a good-hearted person, you help other people. That's linked with the laws of karma, isn't it? So the more good you are to others, the more you get back in abundance. Then it's your intelligence, your intelligent nature. Many people think, well, I wasn't well educated. I am who I am. I can't be any better. Well, your thoughts are just planting that seed all the time. You can't get better. Everyone's capable of learning more and more and more. You just got to empty your cup. Let go of the past. So you can be more intelligent. And intuition, where does that come from? How do you know what to do, when to do it? It's from a higher level. That's why psychology, if you like, they came to a ceiling point because they don't know where or what intuition is. They call it mystical. It's an unknown science. But if you look at psychology, it came from the Greek word of the study of the soul. Now it's study of the mind. We stepped it down, if you like. So intuition comes from your soul. So our Hatha yoga is to develop every single individual to a very high order so they become dynamic, courageous, good-hearted, more intelligent, and highly intuitional. And we all have
I can't wait for the next one.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for the next one. Sorry. So before we wrap up, because I could talk to you for ages, and I feel very honored to be having this conversation. So what makes Les tick? Because you get up there and you talk to us for hours, sometimes days at a time. And I haven't known anyone who's come into a pranic healing session and leave going, oh, I wish I hadn't attended. You know, everybody's going, oh, I'm so glad I came and this was the right time and I really needed to be here. But away from the stage and away from the research and everything else, what do you like doing?
This work, you know, this become a passion many years ago. You know, at first I struggled with it, like most people, you know, that sort of getting away from my mindset or my behavior. But when I understood the tools and what I had, I thought I can help so many people. And the more and more I let go and the more I learn, which I'm still doing, we never stop, you can help people more and more and more. And the great satisfaction is somebody that, you know, from a child to an adult to an elderly person, they're struggling in their life, they got no way out, and you walk in there and you change their life so fast. And that's what people are looking for. You know, there's so many things out there that you can look at, but realistically, you want something that helps you and helps you fast to give you a good life. And pranic healing does that. The teachings give you that. And that's something from a job, if you like. It was never really a job. It always become a passion. So for me to get up in the morning, I'm not thinking, oh, I've got to get up and do this, or I've got to go and help these people, or I've got to go and work on a stage and, you know, teach people. I absolutely love it because it's ingrained in me. And the more I do it, even now, after 20 odd years of doing it, I love getting up. I love helping people. I love sharing these teachings of my teacher, Master Kuksui. And before he passed, the teacher passed many years ago, one of the things I said to him is that I will really dedicate my life to doing this work. And I have done, and I do. And as I said, it's a passion. It's got nothing to do with work. And for me and most people, we're all looking for that passion, aren't we? You get up in the morning, you do something you really love. And that's me, you know, it's just my passion. That's what drives me.
And that shows in everybody who works around you. You know, everybody holds you in such high esteem. And I know again that you don't like the recognition, but it's the truth. You know, the respect, and not just the respect, but the love that people have for you is genuine. And obviously, you've planted the seeds for us to be able to share that affection with you. Is there anything as a takeaway that you want to just tell us before we wrap up?
I've said this, well, I don't know, really. There's so many things. The biggest thing is for people to get away from your skepticism and give this a go. Because once I was the most skeptical person you're ever likely to meet. Seriously, I was. But when you then come in, like you said, you come into the class, you learn the first class, the Pranic Healing Level 1, it's life, it's transforming. It will change your life, literally. And then you start to apply it, it will change your life even more. Then you go up in the upper classes, you know, and do more with this, it'll change your life even more. It doesn't stop, as you've been finding, Victoria. So one of the biggest things I could say to anyone on this planet, stop being skeptical, just put your toe in the water and give it a go. And that's what, you know, with medical research we're doing on it, it works, period. And it works fast. And that's one of the things that anybody's looking for in the world, for something that can help them fast. Pranic healing is here. So come and do it. Take the classes, take the courses, wherever you are, and join us. And you'll be amazed how much it transforms your life super fast. Okay,
oh, thanks, Liz. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and you know what? And I just want to add this as well, is that as well as the healing, the community is amazing. You meet so many wonderful people, and I've seen and I've created some amazing friendships there as well. So, and also you've got people from all ages. Well, from what's the youngest age that you can go there?
The youngest that's taken it is actually 16. So
16.
We've had 16-year-olds all the way up to I think my oldest student was about 85, I think. something like that. So
Yeah.
all ages. And then, like you said, from all walks of life, it doesn't matter who or where or what you do, come and join us, because it change your life. So,
well, I have had an amazing time with you, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of the listeners. I'm going to say Atma Namaste to you.
I'm going to say thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Les. And guys, I will see you on the other side. Speak to you soon.
Thank you. Take care.